Hello. It's with great pleasure that I tell you about my experience listening to the audiobook of Alien Sea of Sorrows, based on a novel by James A. Moore. This was directed by Dirk Maggs, who also did the Alien 3 audiobook, which I reviewed a couple of years ago. That featured the voices of Michael Biehn and Lance Henriksen, and it allowed us to get a different version of that particular instalment, which was very much welcome from the wretched David Fincher version that we got back in 1992. So for Alien Sea of Sorrows, I was initially struck by the casting, the voice cast, in particular Stockard Channing, who you will remember as Rizzo in Grease. She's excellent in this as Andrea Rollins, the company person who basically enrolls a descendant of Ellen Ripley to repay a debt which Ripley apparently still owes to Weyland-Yutani. Now you get the typical alien tropes here: face huggers, the nest, the queen, gung-ho soldiers and people who basically end up losing their cool. But there's the inclusion of one sequence in this which was among the most moving that I've ever encountered in an alien story, movie, any type of media. It's absolutely terrific. We also have Andrea Deck, who did the voice of Amanda Ripley in the Alien Isolation game, and she's pivotal to that sequence that I just mentioned. Getting back to Channing, and wow, I love her vocal performance here, and how matter-of-fact her tone was, and how deliciously evil she comes across. She's a bit of a cow in this. It was about as far away from Grease as you can imagine. A bit like the difference between Gandhi and Sexy Beast was for Ben Kingsley. That kind of duality. She could, I tell you, very talented. One of my favourite Stockard Channing performances now in this audiobook. Maggs, very talented guy. He did a lot of the work on this. The sound effects, especially the atmosphere and Foley, the footsteps, gunfire, sound of backpacks, drills and other effects are terrific here. It's a top quality audio production enhanced by James Hannigan's score. He also did music for the Alien 3 audiobook, and I was able to detect some similarities between the two scores. There's a few tracks that are reused, but that's fine. It kind of touches upon the work that Jerry Goldsmith and James Horner did for the movies, but also the Aliens Colonial Marines video game, which I believe was Kevin Ripple, that type of thing, that kind of very authoritative type of soundtrack, creepy in places but also kind of bittersweet in others. I really enjoyed his work on this, and everything goes towards enhancing the experience. John Chancer does the voice of Decker, who's an empath, basically like Judge Anderson in the Judge Dredd stories. He can telepathically link himself to the aliens, and he can detect when they're coming. And there's a little sound like a rising yee thing that they put in, which is when he's trying to imagine what they're thinking about, or what they might be doing next. But it's also, it goes both ways. The action in this is pretty well stayed. It's a 5-hour audiobook, and if I have one gripe, I actually wanted it to be longer. I think there's potential for an extended line on this story. It's definitely an experience which I will treasure, I think. It's one of the best alien stories I've come across over the years, and as I say, having been disappointed deeply by the 1992 film of Alien 3 due to its terrible writing and bad setup, there wasn't such a problem in Alien Sea of Sorrows. as I say, it does tie into very much what we know about the Alien lore, and for people who are new to it, it does allow you to feel welcome in that world, if horror is your thing. This is pure sci-fi horror, and yeah, as I say, very, very good. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I think ultimately that for an audiobook which allows you to imagine what's happening scene by scene, get into the characters, understand what the threat is, what is at stake, and just how those vocal performances really enhance that, and all the sound effects that go with it. Brilliant. I mean, you know, you've got to take your hat off to these people. I mean, they know how to do it right. Ridley Scott is apparently going to be bringing out a new Alien film, Alien Romulus. What is it, Star Trek, the Romulans? I don't know. I didn't like Prometheus or Alien Covenant. A backstory that we just didn't need. But as I say, this is actually part of a, I think, set of 3 stories. River of Pain and Out of the Shadows being the other 2. And yeah, I mean, the callbacks to the original Alien, you get to hear Ripley and also her daughter. Good stuff, yeah. I mean, it's definitely an Alien fan's dream, this. And as I say, the action was very, very clear and precise. Moments of pathos, you know, moments of... There's one bit that actually surprised the heck out of me, and I was like, almost like slapping my head, like thinking, how did I not see that coming? But it did surprise me a lot, and I like to be surprised, and I think that's something that's been missing from a lot of recent Alien stuff, where it's games, books, movies, the short films. Oh, don't even get me started on those things. I mean, discount Xenomorph, you know, you hear a lot of stuff off screen, which, you know, if it was an audio drama, it'd be fine. I mean, like this, because you can imagine what but when you're actually doing it as a visual thing as well, you've got to deliver, and those short films did not. But as I say, I love the audio quality. Everything is clean here. That the integration of music, voices, sound effects, it's just a very clean production, and nothing was jarring about it at all. It's broken up into a series of chapters for around like 20 to 40 minutes long each, making up the 5 hours. And as I say, I just wanted it to go on because I was interested to see what was going to happen next with these characters, and I was very moved by that one moment in particular. I'm not going to go into details what it was, but very, very good. I give Alien Sea of Sorrows audiobook, directed by Dirk Maggs, 5 out of 5 stars. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I will be coming back to it again and again, and I highly recommend it for your listening pleasure. For more film and soundtrack reviews, please visit Betty Jo Tucker's website, Real Talk Movie Reviews. On Facebook you can find my pages, Hip-Notic Movie Reviews and Hip-Notic Soundtrack Reviews. I am Richard Jack Smith. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.